Okay, perfect. So I think those of you who've never had the pleasure of using the old ARMS, I don't think can appreciate how much more user-friendly the new one is. And for those of you who struggled with the old one for the past year, as many of us have, as it wound down to its final days of its life, you're really going to appreciate, I think, the new one as well. So can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, perfect.
Yes.
Didn't have the green bar around it, so I wasn't quite sure. So when you log in to the new system, you're going to see that you come into your profile. And in the old system, if you needed someone else here or you needed your password reset, then all you had to do was send me an email. But now it's even easier because now you can make your own password. So if you don't remember your current password, then you can just go to the new password and create it. And then you always log in with the program director's email. And the system has now been set up with the security so that only the program director's email allows you in. So if you're working in an institution where you do not do your program director and you don't do your own annual report, you don't put your own data in, then you're going to want to work with whoever does it so that you can figure out how you're going to manage this, because we cannot manually add any new users to this other than the program director. It's part of the security. And so if this is going to create a big problem for you, then you're going to want to figure it out between you and whoever. If it's someone in your office of accreditation, institutional accreditation, if you have an admin who does it for you, then you're going to want to figure that out among yourselves. But only the program director's email will let you into the system. So when you get into the system, it's going to be a much more user-friendly screen. So the first thing you're going to see is sort of your overview, your program overview, the program director. If you've added any documents in here, then you'll be able to see the related documents. And then when you want to do your program, oh, this is another good thing. If you have somebody who says, well, when was our first accreditation date? You can actually click on your view full status history and you'll get that information now. And then when you want to do your annual report, you just click on complete annual report and it will bring you to the page where you're going to get started. And so the first thing you'll see is a welcome to the annual report. And so this will probably be where I highlight some of the things that currently get buried in that introductory email or the reminder email that I really want you to focus on. So you'll just click on get started once you've read that. And your personnel will transfer over from the master CAAHEP database. So far, it has looked like most of the stuff has really transferred over very nicely and cleanly, but you'll want to check it. And then the nice thing is it carries over every year from now on, and I'll show you what to do about that. So you can see that you have your president. Remember, this is a test program, so you're not going to see anything that you recognize. But the first thing you see is, oh, the dean isn't in here. So remember that you need to send us an email. So send me an email telling me that you have a new dean and giving me that person's contact information, and then we'll be able to get that added into the database for you. And then after that, it will be in there as you log in every year. Your program director. So those are the three things that get pulled over from the CAAHEP database, the master database, and we can't change those. So you'll want to do your personnel change form. If it's a program director that needs to be changed, if all of a sudden you look on and you say, oh, I have a new telephone number, then just send me a quick email on that and I'll take care of getting that updated for you. Billing contact. Most of you use yourselves, but some of you do have a billing contact. And so you want to click on it, add it. And so, and if you don't have someone, then you want to make sure that you put in not applicable, because as you will see, if you don't put somebody in, then you're going to get an error message at the end. So remember, this system is used by a number of different COAs, and some of them have very strict requirements about having a billing contact in. For me, I tend to just send it to the program director unless you've got a billing contact in. So you can either put yourself in, or you can say not applicable. If you have to have one person in every screen, otherwise you're going to get an error message. So again, this year, you're probably going to have to add your medical director. So just go in, medical director. I just put a bunch of dummy people in. So let's just make this and then save it. And again, you have to have one person in every, okay. So you don't have a lead instructor, so I will remove that from your page. So you shouldn't see anything you don't have to fill in. Some programs have a clinical coordinator, some do not. So we left this in. But again, if you don't have one, you can just put clinical coordinator. And then just the name, and I'll just throw in my dummy names here. And then this is where you're going to add all of your didactic and lab faculty, so like your part-time people. And again, if you don't have anybody, then you'll just do lab instructor and just not applicable. If you're very fortunate and you have a second full-time person or a third full-time person, you want to add them in as well because they're didactic faculty. So you would add them here. And then some of you have a director of clinical education. I will also leave that system in just because some of you have it. And so you want to put in and just click on and save it. And then the nice thing, this is going to be a little more work for you this year, but after this, these people will carry over. And then on your next page, on your clinical facilities, you'll be able to just reach through your list and add the person in. So here we're going to put clinical preceptor because it's somebody who does your lab, your people at your hospitals. And then we'll save it. And then you're probably going to have way more than one. So just keep adding by clicking on add new clinical faculty. And then you can say save and continue. So this is the error message that you get if you've not put somebody in each of the categories that you're required. So then we'll go back up and we'll see where did we not put somebody. Oh, I see. Because we don't use lead instructor, but we still have to fill it in until I go in and take it out, which I will do. Now we should be able to save it. The nice thing too is there are so many checks and balances in here, a lot of verification. So in the past, you might make a mistake and you wouldn't know it until I sent you an email saying, oh, you didn't do this or you forgot to do that. Now it doesn't let you do that. So again, this is going to be a place where for you, it's a big change because you've never had to give us your advisory committee roster before, but now CAAHEP does want this. And so you do have to add somebody at every one of these slots. But after this, you'll be able to, it'll just carry over. And so on your advisory committee, standard 2 says you have to have a student. So just pick a first-year student, add it in. If you're a new program, for example, although you wouldn't be doing this until I was gonna say you wouldn't have to have a graduate, but no, you would still have to have a graduate because you wouldn't be filling this out until you've had one class. So you want to add your graduate. This might not change from year to year, or you may add someone new. Probably you'll need to change your student each year. So if you need to change your student, then you would want to go in and say, oh, Nicholas Jones was my student last year on the advisory committee, but he has gone on, he's graduated. So you click the red button and that removes that person. And now you would get the label that says you need to add a student. And so then you could go back in and do first year student again. And as you can see, I just threw a whole bunch of names and dummy contact information in so we'd be able to work with them. And then you want to add your faculty. So these are all people that are required under standard 2. I'll just put Ray in. He can be your faculty. Sponsor administration, this is going to be like your dean, your department chair, your vice president, whoever represents your sponsor administration on your advisory committee. So let's just say it's the dean of health professions, and we'll just go in and pull her in because we've added her before. So it has held it. And then you can just keep moving on. And then you need to have one employer. And you'll get the same kind of error message if you don't put someone in every area. And then your physician can be your medical director. So you can just do physician and medical director, make Eric a medical director. And then remember, you have to have a public member on the committee. So you want to go in and you want to add, and you just want to do public member, or you can put the person's title if they are, you know, from their employer, or it might be that somebody who's like maybe a parent of a child or a family member of a person who's received services, and then they are interested in programs. So then you want to do just save and continue. And then that brings you up, and you can see what's starting to happen over here is you're getting all these little green checks. So that tells you that that page has been completed and it has been accepted by the system. So there were no obvious errors on it. So then you're going to get to your program information. And again, this will carry over after the first year. So this year, you're going to be adding some information to the system. Not everything carried over from the way the old system collected data. So this is one of the areas where you're going to need to add it. So again, you can just go in and choose your certificate and the degree, or the degree that you've awarded. Then here, remember, you used to have to add this in the comment section in the old annual report. Now you put it right in here. And so just the way I found it easier to do, rather than just doing, you know, like it won't accept it if you just did like, you know, the name of your program, your college here. So I just went in, and it's easier to go into where your program outcomes are published and just copy the URL and then to paste it here. That's also helpful because we are required to verify this. So I verify it, CAAHEP verifies it, and as you know, some of you have gotten recently emails asking you to update your link because it either didn't work, or when we clicked on the link, we couldn't find what we were looking for. So sometimes if you put that into just like the home page of your university or your college, it's difficult for us to find them. And so because we have to verify them, and sometimes we're told that CHIA will also go in and do spot checks. Then, you know, and if we don't have them working, then we have to follow up on it. So make sure that your link does work, and the easiest way to do it is just copy and paste it. If you give 2 levels, so for example, some of your students may get a certificate and they can drop out and never come back, or they can go in and come back and they can get the associate's degree. So you would just put level 1, level 2, make sure that your level 1 is the academic award that gets your students into the exams. So if you have a system, a program that's designed so that at the end of the first year, the students get a certificate of completion, that's all of their content technical courses, and then they can go take the boards, and then they can come back and finish their gen eds at their convenience, then you can do a 1 and 2, a level 1 and 2. So the, I'm just going to change this back to associates and baccalaureate, just because that's the, I'm not going to put baccalaureate, I'm going to put nobody. This is one of the places where you don't have to put anything in here. So then how long is it in months? So that allows us to be able to look at it in a standardized way, so that it doesn't matter if you're telling us it is a trimester, it's clock hours. We want to know in months, how long is the program? And then in academic sessions, how long is it? So an associate's degree typically is 18 months in academic sessions, but the program is actually 21 months in length because you have that summer session. And then the number of hours, credit hours. And then this is where you want to tell us what kind of credits are they? Are they contact hours, semester, trimester, quarter, or other? So you can just put that there. And then with your tuition, you want to tell us, so if you're a community college, for example, and you have a in-state and out-of-state, or your community college that has a service area and a non-service area, then you want to put in whatever your resident fee is considered to be. And then if it's a non-resident, such as an out-of-state student, you want to put that here. If you don't have either one of them, then they're going to be the same. So if you just have, doesn't matter who comes, Johnny Smith from down the street or me from out of state, we pay the same amount of money, then you just want to put it, 12,000, 12,000. Then again, this is similar. You just want to pick when does your fiscal year begin. So for most of you, if you're working in a public institution, it's going to be in July, July 1. And then if it's not, if you're on an October 1 or January 1, whatever it is, your fiscal year, just the month and the date. And then again, this is where in the past, it was on, I think it was on the same sheet, but it's the budget sufficient to achieve your program goals and outcomes. If you say yes, it's great. If you say no, then it automatically opens up an analysis and action plan for your budget. And then if you have a satellite campus, you're going to click on add satellite campus. And I'm not sure that Teresa has that in there yet. Oh, she does. Okay. So you would add your satellite campus, but you don't have to, if you don't have one, and this is a place again where you don't have to fill it in, it doesn't give you an error message. And then again, just save and complete. Okay, so now you can see my habit is I put commas in for money if it's after, after, so, but you can't, it doesn't like it. It just wants numbers. So you have to go in and take your comma out. Don't put dollar signs, just numbers. So again, you can start to see all the validation that is built into the system that will really make your life so much easier as you start to do this. So for some reason, this is not wanting to save. It's not giving me an error message either, so I'll figure that out. Oh, perfect. And I don't have the IT person on with me. Oh, okay, I see what's happening. Because I pull that in, I think. So let's just do. Okay, I'll figure that out. Okay, so then your program information, you'll notice that you didn't get a green check mark here because it hasn't been accepted, and it's not accepting it because of this. And so I'm not sure why that is, but I will.
I wonder if it's because you have that second associate's degree, the level 2, without information.
Oh, perfect. Yes, it is. That is exactly it. Thank you. I thought they said last week that you didn't have to have this. But obviously, I'll figure that out. It's still getting hung up on here. suppose it's nice that we get these errors and we get to figure them out as we go through. Still not saving it, so, and it's not giving me an error message, but I will figure that out. Let's just move on. So if you get something like this and you can't save it, you don't have to stop. You can send me an email. The IT folks are really very quick about responding. Then you can just go on to the next and you'll see that you don't have a green check mark there. So if you leave it and you come back, you'll be able to see what you still have to do. So again, this year you're going to have to add your clinical affiliates. So we're going to just put in 1, save it. And let's see, then you want to add your clinical affiliate personnel here. So just add a person and then click here, and all the people that you have put in your database will already show here, and you just pull them in and save it. And now if you have only one affiliate, you can just do your acknowledgement that I've put them all in, and then you can continue. This is where you go.
Jackie, was that just for paid faculty that would be at those facilities, or is that for every preceptor?
It's for, I would say, if you have one person at a preceptor, at a hospital, that's your go-to person. And that's where the students go to in the beginning to find out who they're going to be with. Then you can put one person's name in. If you have more than one person, so you have the same 6 people always who work with the students, and you call all 6 of them and work with them every year when you're getting ready to assign students, then you can add more people here. But most of the time, people have one go-to person, and that's the only name you have to put in.
Thank you.
Okay, you're very welcome. So this is going to be, make your life so much easier. So this is where now, instead of having that big ugly table that went all the way across your screen for enrollment and retention, you're going to just see 5 years here because I'm limited it to 5 years. And so now, this is an old class. So you just drop down, your newest one will be on top, and you just pick the one you're working with. And then the nice thing you're going to see is that everything is related to enrollment and retention is going to be on this one page. So you're not flipping back and forth anymore. So if you want to now edit your cohort, you can go in, and they had a, so you want to put in estimated number of applicants. So let's say we had 40. We could take 15. We initially enrolled 12. Of those 12, we lost 1 who left because they just didn't like the program. 1 failed because of professional courses, and 1 failed because of a gen ed course, physics. So their date was to graduate is in 2002. So it's going to go in here, and you graduated 9. There's obviously another number in here somewhere. Because you're going to get an error here. I'm going to save it just to show you. Okay.
I think you had 10 in 2004.
Okay. Yours will be a lot cleaner when you do this, because I've only got 5 years of data, but this is a test system that we built, and so I'm not sure why those dates got put in there, but it did, so that's all right.
Hey, Jackie, how important is that estimated applications? Because we run a wait list we don't have like an annual number.
So your wait list has just, everybody goes on the wait list when they apply and meet the.
Yeah, so like I have 150 people on my wait list right now. So
Yeah, and then you just pull from that.
yeah, and we just, because we're a community college in California, we just have to pick them as they come up,
Yeah, and so what do you do if somebody's been on the wait list for like 4 years? You send them a letter and say, do you still want to come?
Yeah, and we average about 2 years, and we tell them that. So
Okay.
yeah.
I think you could probably put a 0 in there.
Okay.
Let's just give it a try. So if you said your applications were this, let's see if that will. Yeah, you could put a 0 in.
Okay, so yeah, that data may not be as critical for CAAHEP.
Right.
Okay.
Okay. And so you only have since you only have one class in here, you're not going to you're going to have a not applicable here because this is only looking at 2015 to 2019. So you have a new booklet that's coming to you that has screenshots of every page. And so I'm sorry I didn't pick this up before, that this class, let's just put a class in there so we'll be able to show you. So remember, it's same on this one as it was on the old one, that if you, once you put the cohort in, you can't change it. And so you want to make sure that you do the right date. So you can do, let's make it so that they're going to graduate. Let's re-enroll them in 2017. September 6, 2017. And then they're going to have a graduation date of, let's just make it August of 2018 so that they'll come in at 5 years. August 31st. And then again, we can leave that here. We can just leave all those numbers the same and then just save it. No, it did only before 11/3/20. I'm sorry, folks. You guys, I'm getting a lot of error messages here that I didn't get my last time I ran through this with the other COA I work with.
Dr. Longoting, I heard you say that this is Veranda from Medical Education and Training Campus. I heard you say that once you put in a cohort, if you have the dates wrong, you cannot change it. So what do you have to do? Just zero out the data?
Yes.
Okay.
On or before.
That may be what you have to do.
Yeah, let's just try it. Let's just do. It's still not letting me save it. Okay, I will find out why that's occurring. But normally that should work because it has to be before 11/30/2020, and it is. It's 9/6/2017. So just hit the cancel button. Okay. So you're going to get a 1 year average for your information here for your retention, and then you're going to get a 5-year average and then a 3-year average. So you should be able to see all that data, and you don't have to do anything about a 1-year exam because we all have the class from you know where. And so maybe you take in 12 students and you lose 6 of them for various reasons. You need to account for the reasons. It's going to show you that you only have a 50% retention rate, which is below the threshold, but your 3 years, if you got, unless you're a brand new program and this is your first time, is going to probably be okay. So we don't ask you to give us a report except for on the 3-year average. And so that will be in the instruction manual, it'll be very clear. So the credentialing exams, again, this is going to be very nice because you aren't going to have all those drop-down exams that you don't report on because they're not applicable to your program. So this is a non-invasive. We've added in the credentials. You go in and edit them. So for 2019, well, we're gonna have to put a class in or they're not gonna carry over. So let's go back. Let's just try this again. So we're gonna add a cohort. Let's make that 1231. And we're gonna do, our maximum is 15. Our number originally enrolled is gonna be 12. So this is a really good class and you only lost one for non-academic reasons. And now you should have your cohort. So now you have a new cohort. So now we can go back and look at this. So in 2019, 1 year average is 91%. And because you've got zeros and all these others, okay, it is going to show you the same. Okay, so you've got 91% and it will show you that your 3 year average is also 91 because you've only got one class that's in the reporting window. So then your retention placement. So you're saying, okay, so on 2019, I didn't put the graduates in. So they graduated in 2019 and we had 11. And so now that changed your in progress or stopped out as soon as you put your graduates in. If you had one person who didn't graduate on time and you are allowed to have them come back, then you can go in and say, okay, so we graduated 10 here, and you'll see that that person is still in progress and you can account for them next year. You'll keep them in the enrollment cohort, but you'll add them to your class of 2020 for graduating. So now you can see of those 10 people that graduated, how many are working, say 8, how many are in the military or gone on to continuing education, 2, and that accounts for all of your positive placement. And then you'll see that because you have somebody in the system still that didn't graduate, you're going to get this little warning window that says, if you expected to have somebody in the in progress or stopped out students, then that's fine. If not, you want to go back in and fix it now. So we're going to say, yes, we expected it. So it can go right there. And then we can go to the credentialing exams and we can say, okay, so of the 10 people who graduated on the RVS exam, you had 10 people attempt it. You had 8 people who passed on the first time and 2 people who passed on the second time. And there you've accounted for all of those 10 students. On the RBT, maybe it's not taken in your area. Maybe people don't take that. Or some people take them both. Then you can go in and say, okay, so we had 10 graduate, only 2 attempted it. Both those 2 took it on the first time and passed. So you can also save that. So now you've accounted for your credentialing success. Your worksheet is, again, much cleaner than it was on the, oh, so let me just back up again. So based on what your concentration is that you're filling out the report, only those exams, credentialing exams, should be in the system for you. I think we've pretty well tied them to each of the concentrations. Then your survey worksheet, again, it's going to be much the same as you currently have. So you had 10 graduates. So graduate surveys, you set 10. They returned, let's say you got 9 of them back. Employer surveys, only 8 people were working, so you sent 8 and 8 were returned. And again, the difference here is in the old system, we had to go in and manually calculate that because remember, we're looking at instead of the return rate, because that's totally out of your control. You can beg, borrow, do whatever, and people will or will not send the surveys, but you are responsible for sending them. So JRC-CVT now looks for 100% of this, and I just have to flip this in your system now. I'll go back in and reprogram this so that it will be the sent rate, not the returned rate. So we'll be able to see that right in front of us. And then the graduate surveys, just click here. Another big change is we don't care now, not that we don't care, but in the past, you had to put in the numbers of 5s, 4s, 3s, 2s, 1s, omitted and not applicable. Now, if you sent 9 out and 7 people said that it was 3 or 4 or 5, then you just give us a 7, and then you need to account for 9. So 1 might say not applicable and 1 might have not responded. And so again, you just fill them in the same way as you used to fill them in each of the 3 areas, and then save it. And then just click to the next one, the psychomotor. And then you want to just click on the class you're reporting for and hit the edit. You always have to account for 9 because you sent 9 out. Let's say on this one, we had 7 people say 3 or above, and you forget that you had to put the others in. So you're going to get a little mark showing you that you've got an issue there and you have to do an analysis and action plan. So let's go back up and just make that 9, and then you can save it. And then you want to just go down to your affective domain and then just same thing, just fill them in. And then if you say, okay, I'll come back later and do the employer surveys, and you say save and continue, then you're going to see that on your survey worksheet, well, when we get to the end, you'll see that you didn't fill these out. So let's just go back up here. So then you get to your standards, and it's the same as the old system. You just say, based on the standard, based on your evaluation of your program, do you meet the standards? And you say yes. I don't think I can, in the old system, I defaulted them to yes. I'm not sure I can do that on the new system. But so you just have to go down and click the yeses. And if you said, oh, you know what? I don't think we do meet the standard on resources because they cut a faculty person and I didn't get any money for a budget, then you're going to, you click no, and then your analysis and action plan boxes will open up. So anytime you put something in that requires you to do an analysis and action plan, the box will open up. And again, we don't want you to write a dissertation, just tell us, you know, the issue, what was your analysis and what are you going to do about it? And I think it's going to be a lot cleaner now because in the old system, that analysis and action plan box was there for everything. And so you don't have to do it. So it's not there. So then you want to do your resources. You say yes, yes, yes. Remember, you're going to use your resource assessment matrix to get this data to fill this in. So just yes and no. Again, if you said no, they don't, my college doesn't give me any money or any time, then it's going to, you click it there and it's going to open up the analysis and action plan box for you.
Jackie, quick question.
Mm-hmm.
If you have 2 items that need analysis, will there only be 1 box for both answers?
I think so. Hang on, let's do.
Not that I would have any no's.
Right. Yes, because it's an analysis. So you would put here under, let's see, curriculums, yes. it was under our continuing ed. So here on the bottom, you would do staff, faculty, staff, continuing education, and write then, so put that there, and then on the action plan, what is it? So the analysis, say, our budget was cut, the college can no longer support travel. And then on the action plan, your dean may say, but we'll give you time for anything that you want to do next year. And so then here you could say your action plan is that you're going to be offered paid time off in order to go to local conferences and meetings. And then just, otherwise, if I don't put something there, it's not going to let it. Okay. And then I'm going to take this out because we've pretty much decided that distance education now is just another way of delivering your curriculum. So we're not asking you for that information any longer. And then you'll get to your comments section. And again, you don't have to fill anything. You don't have to give us any comments unless you want to tell us something. You don't need to put your link in because it's already in. So just write no comments, because again, if you don't put something in the box, then it's going to be a problem. So here, we are requiring you to submit your RAM this year, but I'm going to have to put that in. So if you had nothing, you would just click, I have no documents to upload. Once I put the RAM in the resource assessment matrix, then you'll be able to click that and upload your resource assessment matrix. And then, no, I don't want you to do that. And then you'll acknowledge it that you've uploaded all the documents that are required, and then you can continue. So we get to the end. And so because we have this issue on program information, it tells us that you still need to go back and look at this. So let's go back here and see if we can figure out. It didn't save it. Okay. I know why, because I said save and continue. So again, if you get an error and you don't know what it is, then I would say click save at the bottom, the blue field, not save and continue, because it didn't accept it, it didn't hold my data. So now I'm going to have to put it back in again. So let's just say an AS. Try this again. Associate's degree. 18. Semester. Is sufficient. We don't have any campus. We don't have any satellites. Let's save. Perfect. Now it's saved, and now we can continue. So it was just being cranky. So I'm not sure why that past one was having an issue, but it certainly was. So now everything is set. You can look and see, okay, I have a green check by everything. I don't need to go back and check anything, but I want to preview it. So just like the old one, you just do preview it. This gives you a PDF. Now you can take a look at it. It's a much nicer format. And so now you can go through and look and see, oh yes, everything is perfect. We've got everything here. And now you can save this if you want to, or you can save it after you submit it. But please do remember to save a PDF. Just close that out. And so now I want to submit it. So go down to finish and submit. You get the little thing that says everything has been okay. So now you can just submit it. And it will come to me. And so you get the notice here that it has been submitted. And again, I would go make sure that you download a PDF for your own files. Now, the other thing that's going to be different, So this, you won't see this, but this is what I get. And so now I can look and see, okay, we have 101 programs, 87 of them haven't started, 13 are in progress, 1 has been submitted. So now I can use this to go in and preview your report. Then if I get here and I see that I have a question, or you didn't relate, if we've asked you to submit a progress report information, for example, in your related documents and it's not there, then I can send this back to you electronically. And so you would get an email from the system, and it wouldn't come from me, it will come from the system. It will only go to the program director. And then it will tell you that your report has been sent back, and it will show you what the issue is. So it'll be a lot easier for me and for you, that you won't have another email that gets buried in your inbox, because it's going to be coming from a distinct system address. And then you can resubmit it. So when I send it back to you, I will tell you what you need to do, and then you'll be able to go to that page, fix whatever it is, or upload the document that you need to upload, and then you'll be able to, or for example, you may put in a new medical director, but you haven't sent in a personnel change form. And so when I go in and see that there's a new medical director, but I don't have a personnel change form on it, I may send this back to you and say, you have to submit the personnel change form before we'll accept and review your annual report. So I think you're going to find out that it's a much nicer system. It's a much more user-friendly system. And I think that when you are, the first time you go through it, you do have to add information, but then the nice thing is it gets carried over year to year, and then you only have to make changes in the information that you submitted. You don't have to resubmit it every year, because it'll be in the system and carry over.
Jackie, did you say that the enrollment data would roll over though?
Yes. Yep.
Okay.
Yep. And again, and I'm sorry I didn't go in and so what I might be able to do is go in and add new cohorts to this, and then make a second recording and show it and give it to you so that it shows you accurately what will happen here. But yeah, it will roll over. Everything will roll over.
Jackie, it's Christy.
Yes.
Just to clarify, you said at the distance education, we don't have to put anything in there anymore? Or what did you say?
No, if you have a totally distance education program, then you're going to fill out an annual report for that. But now, remember in the old system, we said, if you put any part of your program was a distance education, then we would say, okay, tell us which courses and calculate the percentage of your program that's taught by distance ed. We're not asking that anymore. We're just saying that it's distance education is just another way to deliver the curriculum.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
We've decided that it has become part of the educational culture, and you don't need to tell us that, oh, we're offering 50% of our program by distance ed.
Right. That makes sense.
Yes, we thought so too.
Jackie,
Yes.
to get to this page to sign on, do we still go under CAAHEP to get to this report, or do we go to another link?
It is. Let's see. It's the old system still. The link is in the information I'm going to send you. But if you have it hard, like I have it programmed on my or saved on my my bar, usually if I click on the old one, it will just go right to the new one.
Okay,
Yeah.
so we can get started on it right away. Just go through CAAHEP and click it, and so we can change. So if you have an invasive and a non-invasive program, you just submit one report now?
No,
Did I
you
hear
still
that
submit
correct?
two. When you log in and you see your
I lost you.
I'm going to move it back over. Hang on a minute. I want to get to the beginning. Okay, yes. So I wanted to close that out so I could get, and if I click on my old, in my menu bar, CAAHEP Accreditation Manager,
Okay.
it redirects you to here. So when you log in, you're going to see, and again, mine's messy because I have every program in here for all the colors I work with. But let's just say, I think they built this so that I have multiple programs. So when you go in, you're only going to see the programs that you have, so the track. So if you say, okay, I have a non-invasive and I have an EP, then you're going to click on this one and it will take you to your EP, and then non-invasive, it'll take you there. So for those of you who've got like an adult echo and a non-invasive, whatever your combination is, you'll see that when you log in, it'll be attached to your profile.
Will they need 2 different passwords like the old system?
Nope, nope. It should be, everything should be under your profile.
Okay, same password for both concentrations.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, good.
Yep, it's tried to make it a lot easier. So it
Yeah,
should,
yeah, I was always forgetting the one or the other.
yeah, nope, you can, and remember, you can set your password now. So you can make it the same or you can make it different.
Okay.
So, and
That's
if
good.
you're at an
But-
institution, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, that's great. I think this makes it easier. That's
Mhm.
great.
And if you were at a college where you're the program director for adult echo, but your colleague Joe is the program director for invasive, then you will be attached to the adult echo and Joe will be attached to the invasive. So that would be the only system where, again, if you've got somebody who does your report for you, enters your data, then they would absolutely need to log in as that person, as that program director. And again, you guys are going to have to work that out.
That's not the case, so we're fine.
Yeah. And then I was just going to say something else. I forgot. Oh, but I just want to give you a heads up that when that happens, and there are several programs that have someone who does their annual report for them, the program director can certainly delegate that under standard 3B1A, I think it is. However, the program director is responsible for being able to speak to everything in that annual report. So the program director has to be participant in developing the analysis and action plan, implementing that action plan, and then evaluating how well it worked, or do we need to make changes again. So when you have a site team come, they want to hear the program director answer that. And it's not an acceptable answer to say, oh, Mary in institutional advancement does that for me and she does all that. Or if you have an admissions office that does all the admissions, to say, oh, we'll have to get someone from the admissions office to tell you about my admissions system because I don't do any of that. So yes, the program director can delegate that, but the program director under his or her responsibilities is held to be accountable for making sure that he or she can speak to that system, because you're ultimately the responsible for the overall integrity of your program.
Jackie, this is Marty. Just a quick question. The resource assessment matrix and the SPR, are they still located in the same link on the website?
They
Or
are.
are they located in here now?
They are. They're located on the website. And I think that I should be able to put the, go to annual reports. I think I can put those links in here as active links on that first page.
That would be great.
Yeah, I'm hoping that I can, I should say.
Thank you.
So when you get to the test one again, when you get to here and you go to non-invasive, I'm gonna choose a different one. If you get this, if it lets you in, don't worry about it, but every once in a while I get that unable to validate the program director. Let's go back over here. So when you get to here, I'm hoping that I can actually put the links in here as active links. I haven't tried it yet. So again, I don't know if the system's going to let me do that, but I will put it in the user manual that's coming to you. And on the page where you need to do the standardized progress report, so it's under retention, it will be on that page in the annual report. So it should be handy in front of you either way. We are getting a new website. We hope to have it launched by now, but we've just been a little distracted with virtual site visits and launching a new ARMS. So hopefully within the next few weeks, you're going to have a new website for JRC-CVT, and we'll make sure that the links are on there. So you'll be able to go there and get them as well.
Hi, Jackie, this is Jeff.
Hi, Jeff.
I was wondering, in the old system, we went ahead and put in the dates of our 2 most recent advisory board minutes or meetings.
Yes.
You want us to type those at some place, or are we looking at that anymore?
I kind of lost that battle. Remember, there are a bunch of people who use this system, and so that's not collected by everybody. And so they didn't have you put it in. So let me talk to the board and see if they want it. I don't know that they want it.
Okay.
If they do, then I have to have you put it in under comments.
Okay. Yep.
Yeah. I'd have you put it in under the comments field.
Okay.
Unfortunately, the board's meeting this week, so on Saturday and Sunday. So we will be able to talk about it there, and if they want it, then I'll be able to have you put it in here.
Okay. Sounds good. Thank you.
You're going to get your user's manual probably tomorrow morning. Since I have a little bit of television to watch tonight, I think most of us do. So you'll probably get it tomorrow morning, and then you'll be able to go through. And so you'll get an email from me after this weekend letting you know whether to put them in the comments section or not.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Jeff, you piloted this. Did you manage to get everything through? Did everything get fixed that you found that we needed to? Have you gone back in?
It sure seems like it, Jackie. I've not really formally submitted it yet, so I wanted to, finalize everything. But I found it to be really quite easy. Just a matter of putting everything in. It worked fine. You and I can talk offline. There's one 5-year enrollment retention just with a number of graduates. But you and I can talk about that offline.
Oh, the one that we were still working on?
Yes.
Okay. And I think I know the answer because one of my pilot programs for NDT, we had a question this morning, and I sent it out to the IT people, and they said it was because she was in progress when they switched over. That was what they thought. And so so let me look at it, and if it doesn't impact your 3-year average, I'm going to tell you just leave it alone.
It does not. It was a cohort that graduated 5 years ago.
Yes. So then I would just tell you leave it alone.
Okay, then I'm good.
Yes.
Okay,
So,
thank you.
And I think, Jeff was one of my pilot people. And so I think it was really, it was pretty easy to do it. I think once you do it once, you're going to find that it's not as hard to remember how to do it as the old one was.
You're right, Jackie, it really was. And if anybody needs any help or anything, they can feel free to contact me directly, and I'll help any way I can. But yes, I found it very user-friendly.
Perfect. That was the goal.
Good, thank you.
So I think that there were a few things, and as you all know, there are just some awful mean people out there who are hacking online systems left, right, and sideways and doing really mean stuff when they get in there. So a lot of security advice was offered, and CAAHEP really took the security of this system to heart. And that's why we recognize that if you happen to be a program director who doesn't put your own data in, and you have someone in your accreditation office, or you have an admin who puts it in, we recognize that becomes a little bit more difficult, because in the old system I could go in and assign as many users as I wanted to, but that is a perfect way for a security breach. And so the new security systems on this make your data a lot more secure. It just maybe creates some disadvantages or some challenges that you've not had to deal with before. So if you have, if you have questions as you start to work on this and you see your manual, you'll be able to, send me a quick email. And if I can't answer it, then I do have a person at CAAHEP I can ask. And if she can't answer it, then we bring in the IT folks. And I'm telling you, if you send me an email and I get it in the morning and I forward it on, I generally have a response back by early afternoon. I know that CAAHEP person lives out in Mountain Time. So, at 8 o'clock for me, it's probably 6 o'clock for her. But most of the time, if I send that by noontime, I have a reply back and I can get back to you the same day. So, don't feel that if you get in there, don't get frustrated. Just say, okay, I'm going to just send an email and ask about this. And a lot of times it's really helpful if you can send a screenshot, because then they can see exactly what you're talking about, or I can see exactly what you're talking about. And sometimes I can go in and fix it. I do have some configuration authority, but if it's something that is not that I can do, then I have to go in and have to ask someone else to do it, the IT folks back on the back end of the program. Any other questions? Okay. I will get your user's manual. And again, it's just like the old one in that every single page has a screenshot. We have arrows to, what you need to do and where you need to do it. And I think it should answer any questions that you have. But if you don't find your answer, and as I said, please don't get aggravated. Just send me an email and say, I'm finding, I can't manage to figure this one out. And we'll get it taken care of for you. We'll help you. And as one of the programs in the test, in the pilot phase, I actually had to have the IT person on the phone with me and the program director and our CAAHEP person. And there was a little glitch, but we found it and we fixed it. So, again, please don't worry about it if you find that there's something a challenge for you. Any other questions? None? Awesome. I will go in and add some more test classes to the enrollment and retention report, just so I can walk through that with you, and I'll just save it. I'll record it and save it as a little file. I'm going to set up a Dropbox and share it with all of you as program directors. And then if you have something you want to share with your programs, if you're talking with a colleague or on a site visit, somebody says to you, oh, that's a really good best practice, then you'll be able to upload it there. And then there'll be a folder for JRC-CVT. And as I said, I'm recording this. Now this does take quite a while to convert to an MP4 file and then upload it to YouTube. So instead of putting the recording itself in Dropbox, because it takes up a ton of space, and if you're using a free version, you run out of space pretty quickly, I'll have a link on either Word or a PDF, and you click on it and it'll just take you to the YouTube channel that I've set up, and you'll be able to watch it there. So you'll be able to watch it, you'll have the manual, and we'll go through it. And I think you're going to really like working with this program. It's much more user-friendly. Okay, if no more questions, then thank you for spending a little time with me this afternoon. I'm glad that we had such a good response and good attendance. And I will get this posted. I'll send an email out when I do post it, and you should get an email from Dropbox inviting you to join a shared folder. And it'll probably entitled something like JRC-CVT Program Directors Shared Folder, something like that. And you'll be able to upload best practices to there and share them with your colleagues as well. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, Jackie.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye, everybody.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye, thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Jackie. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Thank you, Jackie.
Thank you.
Bye,
Bye,
Angie
everybody.
Clone.
Bye, Pam Brown. I miss you, girl.
I know, I miss you too.
I'll talk to you soon.
All right, bye.
Hey, Jackie, I reshared that file for you.
Thank you.
I don't know why it was out there. I don't know what happened. I'll try it, see what happens now.
Okay. And I can't get this to save. I may be going through a whole presentation with nobody online.
All right. Oh, okay.
Okay.
Just real quick, so we get everybody off, just real quick question, Jackie.
There's quite a few people still on, I think.
It's just Julie Hall. There we go. It's just you and I now. Hey, you want, if you want to turn off the recording?
Yeah, I'm trying to turn on,
Oh.
trying to, yeah, hang on a
Oh,
minute.
okay. I'm sorry. I apologize.
No, it's not your problem. I don't know why it's working here. It's,
Not that really matters. I just gotta.
Zoom is not responding.
All right. Well, no big deal. I can talk to you later about what I need to talk about. It's no big deal. Write an email. I'll try to find an